here at the Children's Museum of New Hampshire, and today I'm going to show you how to make Earth Day Oobleck. So for this project you're going to need cornstarch, water, and food coloring. You also need a tray or plate to make your project in, and this one can get a little bit messy, so you might want to put something down on your work surface first. So Oobleck is a mixture of two things. It's really just cornstarch and water, and it's a really fun thing to play with. So I'm going to put my cornstarch in first, and we're going to make our Oobleck look like the planet Earth today in honor of Earth Day. And we have our cornstarch in the bowls, and then I'm going to mix in the water. And with this one, we don't really measure too much, we just mix and see what happens. So cornstarch is a solid and water is liquid, and when you mix them together it makes something in between a liquid and a solid, and it's actually called a non-Newtonian fluid because it can take on the properties of both a liquid and a solid. And it's pretty fun to play with once you have it all mixed up, but it's also pretty messy. So once you have it mixed, you want to keep it contained in a certain area. So after we mix it in the bowl, we're going to put it on our tray, and this green is going to represent the part of the earth that looks green from space, so the land. And then we're also going to do the water. So this is already taking on some of the properties of normal Oobleck, where it can drip like a liquid, but it can also be pushed together like a solid. And most liquids and solids, when they mix together, they will, something will dissolve into liquid and it will just become part of the liquid. But the cornstarch doesn't do that. It stays really thick and it becomes a messy mixture. So we have our green pretty much ready to go, but I'm gonna pour them in the tray at the same time. So next I'll mix up the blue one and see what happens with that one. I put a little less cornstarch in this bowl, so we might have a little less blue than our green. So I'm gonna mix these around. And this one doesn't look quite as blue as I want it to look, so I'm going to add a little more of the food coloring to it, so we get a nice blue ocean. And I'm going to put down the part that is the land first, and try to make sort of a little bit of the shape of the earth in this tray. So a liquid will usually take the form of the container, the shape of the container it's in. That's one way that we define liquids. And Oobleck kind of does that too. That's one way it acts like a liquid. And a solid will usually stay the same shape no matter what kind of container you put it into. Let me see if we can get some ocean in here and mix that. And we're gonna hopefully make this look a little bit like the earth, because we have green and blue mixing together. A little more blue over here, and maybe I'll put in a little more green over on the side. And once you have your earth made, you can do this on a plate. We have this great serving tray that's really big to make it, but you can do it a different way if you'd like, or on a tray. If you use a plate, it'll make a nice circle shape for your earth. Then once you have that all in there, you can start laying in it. And I brought out some of our animals today so that we can place them where they go. So we have a sea turtle, so that one's gonna go in the ocean part of the Oobleck. And we have a dolphin, and that one would go in the ocean. And then we have some animals that live on the land. So this one I think is an Arctic wolf, so we're going to put it up on one end of the earth. And we have a penguin, put it down on the other end. And we have a big elk. So once you have some things to play with in here, and you can even use spoons and things like that, and you can use your hands as well, you can start mixing these around. You can pick it up in your hands. It's kind of tricky, but you can actually pick the oobleck up and then let it drip back down, and it gets really messy and it's really fun. Ours maybe needs a little bit more cornstarch because it's a little too liquidy. But when you do it with the right ratio, it works really well, and you can play with it for quite a long time. When you're done playing with it, you don't want to pour this mixture down the sink because the cornstarch is so thick, it can actually really clog your sink, so you don't want to do that. You want to let it harden up, and because it's just cornstarch and water, you can actually compost this. So you don't have to throw it away. You can put it in your compost if you compost, but you don't want to put it down your sink because it could clog it up and you don't want to do that. So thank you for joining us today. I hope you have a happy Earth Day, and I hope you have fun playing in your oobleck if you make some.